Scalise has since condemned the group's views, and also an advisor said the congressman did not know about the affiliation at the time. Here with reaction, Fox News contributors David Webb and Jason Riley. Guys, good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Sean.
Thoughts?
Well, he did apologize. He said he exercised poor judgment, but I think he's become a distraction. The Republicans are about to take over both chambers. This is what we're talking about. I don't think that's good for the party. So I think remaining in leadership is a problem.
See, I look at this from another angle, Sean. One, Steve Scalise apologized, and as I'm looking at this story and how it played out, by all reports that are credible for something he didn't do. One, this story was tipped off by Robert Reed, campaign manager for Gilda Reed, who ran against him when Jindal moved on to the governorship. Two, I'm looking at the Euro workshop flyer here. The picture put out by Snopes, vetted, doesn't list him. Three, their conference was 2 hours. And full disclosure, I've stayed at that hotel a number of times back in that time. Now, I wasn't there for the conference, by the way, but it's a well-known landmark as you come into New Orleans. And I just like the round building.
But I mean, the fact that he said he spoke because he apologized,
well,
but then there's conflicting reports about whether he did.
He was at a community meeting, and even by Euro's own records, and according to Kenny Knight, who's tied to David Duke,
but that's the point.
It was 2 hours after his community meeting that the Euro conference, and
here's my problem. I'm having a hard time believing, and this is my take, that he didn't know this was David Duke's organization.
Well, the thing about this is they were in the hotel. I went through the hotel raids. They had a convention there, call it that. So people are there. He has a community meeting. Conference starts later. People go into his community meeting. If that plays out as true, the mistake is Steve Scalise's for apologizing.
But wait a minute, what about...
But he didn't have to.
Well, apparently he thinks he spoke there because he apologized for speaking there.
Well, he needs to do a better background check, to be honest. Go to your staff, look it up. I did, and found a different story.
Here's another reason it's a distraction, Sean. You have a number of Republicans working very hard at black outreach. You've got Paul Ryan out there visiting black communities, poor black communities all over the country. You've got Rand Paul speaking at black colleges. This episode doesn't help those efforts. I think it sets those efforts back. And to have this man as the #3 Republican in the Senate is a big target.
But what about the association with Knight, who's associated with Duke? He had to know who this guy was and what his views are.
He was a state representative, so he needs, again, my point is there's more to this story.
You're saying he had to work with the guy?
Well, I don't know whether he had to work with him or not. I don't excuse it on either side. I look at it for what it is. I'm with you on the distraction, though, Jason, especially that the Democrats are now saying you've got to confirm Loretta Lynch or you're racist. They're using it as a massive distraction. We have $1 trillion problem. Multi-trillion-dollar problem for the new Congress, and here we are talking about this.
I will say this, and you can bring a Bill Ayers, Bernardine Doran.
Yeah, there's a double standard. Keith Ellison has spoken highly of the Nation of Islam, another racist organization.
Bird,
Al Sharpton. Look at this. The president says Al Sharpton, a racist, a known racist, is go-to man on race.
But you know, Robert Byrd was the majority leader in the Senate for the Democratic Party. He was a member of the Klan. And said so.
In spite of his epiphany, they try to
this guy spoke as he was speaking to the whole state, so I would be willing. What bothers me more is that he's kind of trying to say, oh, I didn't know. And I don't believe that.
Here's a problem with politicians. They are risk averse, Sean. They don't want to, let's apologize and move on. And Steve Scalise made a mistake playing the risk averse politician here. Look into the case, have your staffers do the work, come out and make a statement that this is how it played out. They were all in the hotel. This is what happened.
Yeah. Democrats, there's a double standard. You can go on example after example, but, Sean, Democrats should not be the barometer of what is appropriate and inappropriate political behavior. The Republican Party should police its own in this case and not let the left set a standard of morality.
Here's one thing. We're talking about, Boehner being challenged by Louis Gohmert and Congressman Yoho. I wonder if it was a conservative if they would have defended, if Boehner and company would have defended the conservative. What's your thought?
Well, I think the leadership
You're laughing because you...
Well, I think the leadership
might have hit a nerve here.
I don't know if it's a conservative liberal dichotomy here, but this is the leadership defending its own, and Scalise is part of the leadership.
But Louis Gohmert might have been thrown overboard.
Right. And remember the McCarthy-Scalise battle with the Tea Party. There's all those aspects.
All right, guys, good to see you, and Happy New Year.